Imagine this. You're invited to a party. The invitation itself brings a rush of excitement, a thrill at the prospect of socializing, meeting new people, and having fun. Excitement bubbles, but then doubt creeps in. You start to question yourself, your outfit, your conversational skills. What if you say something awkward? What if I'm stuck in a corner, overwhelmed by small talk? The room feels like it's closing in. The noise becomes a blur, and you feel like an outsider looking in. But then, another fear whispers, what if nobody talks to me at all? The fear of being invisible, of standing alone while everyone else seems to be having a great time, gnaws at you. This, my friends, is the tug-of-war of social fears. It's a constant battle between wanting to be seen and heard and the fear of being judged or ignored. We crave connection, yet we fear its grip. The idea of forming bonds is enticing, but the vulnerability it requires can be terrifying. We long to belong, but we dread losing ourselves in the process. The struggle to fit in without compromising our true selves is a delicate balance. We are all caught in this dance between two extremes, the fear of engulfment and the fear of abandonment. It's a push and pull, a constant negotiation within ourselves. These fears, while seemingly opposite, share a common thread, a fear of vulnerability, of truly showing up as ourselves in the world. It's about finding the courage to be authentic, despite the risks, and embracing the possibility of genuine connection. Engulfment. It's a feeling that can be hard to describe, yet so many of us have experienced it. It feels like being swallowed whole, as if the very essence of who we are is being consumed by something much larger than ourselves. Our boundaries blur, our voices silenced. We lose the ability to distinguish where we end and others begin. We might say yes when our hearts scream no, afraid to disappoint or disrupt the peace. The fear of conflict or rejection can be paralyzing. We might overgive in relationships, seeking validation, only to feel depleted and unseen. The more we give, the more we lose sight of our own needs and desires. This fear often stems from experiences where our individuality was overlooked, our needs dismissed. We become shadows in our own lives, fading into the background. Maybe we were raised to prioritize others' happiness above our own. Taught that self-sacrifice was a virtue, we learned to put others first, even at our own expense. Maybe our past relationships lacked healthy boundaries, leaving us feeling suffocated. We might have been in situations where our personal space was constantly invaded. Whatever the root, the fear of engulfment keeps us small, hesitant to fully inhabit our own lives. It holds us back from stepping into our true potential, from embracing our full selves. But recognizing this fear is the first step towards overcoming it. By setting boundaries and reclaiming our space, we can begin to breathe again, to live fully and authentically. We can learn to say no without guilt, to prioritize our own needs without feeling selfish. In doing so, we reclaim our power and our voice, stepping out of the shadows and into the light. On the other side of the spectrum lies the fear of abandonment. This fear chills us to the bone, leaving us feeling isolated and unworthy. We might push others away before they have the chance to leave us. We might withdraw emotionally, building walls to protect our hearts. This fear often originates from experiences of loss, rejection, or neglect. Perhaps a parent was emotionally unavailable, or a close friend moved on without explanation. These wounds, though often unintentional, can leave us feeling undeserving of love and belonging. Life, however, is not lived in extremes. It is a delicate balance, a constant dance between opposing forces. We are not defined solely by our fears. Our identities are shaped by how we face and overcome them. We exist in the messy, beautiful in-between. It's in these moments of uncertainty and complexity that we truly find ourselves. We walk a tightrope, constantly adjusting our balance between the fear of engulfment and the fear of abandonment. This balancing act is a testament to our resilience and adaptability. Some days we lean into connection, embracing vulnerability, only to pull back when it feels like too much. It's a natural ebb and flow, a rhythm that we learn to navigate over time. Other days, we seek solace in solitude, recharging our emotional batteries, until the longing for connection draws us out again. This cycle of connection and solitude is essential for our emotional well-being. There's no right or wrong way to navigate this dance, as long as we approach it with self-awareness and compassion. Understanding our own needs and respecting the needs of others is key to maintaining this delicate balance. In the end, it's about finding harmony within ourselves and with those around us. By embracing both our strengths and vulnerabilities, we can walk the tightrope of life with grace and confidence. Section 5. Mindfulness as our compass. Mindfulness becomes our compass, guiding us through this complex terrain. By paying attention without judgment to our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, we cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves. We begin to recognize the subtle cues of our fears. We notice the tightness in our chest when we feel pressured to say yes, or the lump in our throat when loneliness starts to creep in. This awareness empowers us to make conscious choices, to respond rather than react to our fears. Section 6. Finding our footing. With mindfulness as our guide, we can begin to find our footing on this emotional tightrope. We learn to set healthy boundaries, communicating our needs with clarity and kindness. We discover the courage to say no to what depletes us and yes to what lights us up. We begin to understand that vulnerability is not weakness, but the birthplace of courage, connection, and joy. We stop seeing ourselves as flawed or unworthy and embrace the messy, imperfect beauty of being human. Section 7. The courage to connect. Here's the beautiful truth. We are wired for connection. It's in our DNA, woven into the fabric of our being. And true, authentic connection requires courage. It asks us to show up as our true selves, imperfections and all. It challenges us to be vulnerable, to risk getting hurt, knowing that the pain of disconnection is far greater than the discomfort of showing up. Section 8. Beyond the tug-of-war. Imagine a life beyond the tug-of-war, where our fears no longer dictate our choices. Imagine embracing vulnerability, both our own and others, with open hearts and open arms. This is the life that awaits us when we dare to move beyond fear, to live and love with courage and authenticity. The journey won't always be easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. Let's choose courage over comfort, connection over isolation, and authenticity over perfection. Let's step into the fullness of ourselves and embrace the messy, beautiful tapestry of human connection.